Hey everybody, I'm Matt McCool. I'm usually on the other side of the camera, but we just got a new camera in the mail. So it's been about 2 weeks since we first got this camera. We've been shooting with it exclusively, and I just wanted to go over a couple of reasons why we upgraded. So starting with the ergonomics, that was like the first thing I noticed when I held the camera. It's definitely bigger than previous Sony cameras, which is nice because I've always felt like the older Sony cameras kind of felt cheap and fragile. I actually broke the screen on my original A7S twice. Sony has focused a lot of attention on making the smallest, lightweight, camera, and I think with the A7S III, it's like the first camera that actually feels like the appropriate size. The buttons feel nice and responsive. The top dial is nice and soft, so if you're recording audio with the built-in microphones, you're not going to get that nasty clicking sound that we had on previous Sony cameras. Battery life is also a huge improvement. They're using the same exact battery that they had in the A7 III, but somehow it's getting like twice the battery life. I don't really know how they're doing that, especially because this camera is more powerful. It's recording a lot more information. The nasty house video that came out a couple weeks ago was the first thing we got to film with the new camera. And that was like the perfect place to test this camera out, just to push it and see what it could do. This was filmed at about 6 p.m. The sun was on the opposite side of the house. And if you look at all the windows, they have sheets over them. There's no power in this house. This is a dark scene, and somehow it still looks like it was lit by studio lights. One of the most important upgrades with the A7S is the improved color. You can really push the image pretty far without everything falling apart. This is new because on previous Sony cameras, we were limited to the 8-bit video codec. You can take a look at this shot right here. You can see the banding going on. This is because the camera is trying to fit all of those nuanced colors into an 8-bit codec, and there's just not enough information. So with the A7S, we finally have 10-bit internal. It's a lot of fun to work with. We have a lot more information to push things all around and add contrast where it's needed. This also makes it easier to get accurate skin tones. We finally have higher frame rates in 4K. This camera can shoot all the way up to 4K and 120 frames a second, still with 10-bit color, which is amazing. Stabilization's also been improved from previous cameras. Lately, I haven't really been using the gimbal because the active steady shot built into the camera works well enough for most shots. Honestly, I think the active steady shot plus the built-in stabilization that you have in Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve, I think it's good enough. With Catalyst Browse, it just, it takes too long. Most of the time our clips are like 10 minutes long because I like to hit record and get the entire house, and then later on I'll chop it up. So to stabilize a 10-minute 4K 60 file would literally take like all day. So right now I don't think that's a great solution for stabilizing footage. The auto features on this camera, like the autofocus, the auto white balance, things like that work really, really well. It's not only fast and responsive, it's like smart. Like it somehow knows what I'm trying to focus on. You can set the autofocus speed and the sensitivity while you're recording a video. I've set the left and right buttons to do this, so like in the middle of a shot, I can decide if I want to have a slower focus pull or a quicker focus pull. And this is what I mean. The A7S is really flexible and it can conform to whatever workflow works best for you. Stabilization is great, the ergonomics are great, battery life is great, autofocus is great, it can handle any lighting situation. So I really think the A7S III is the most well-rounded camera in its class for both like run and gun type of YouTube videos all the way up to commercial cinematic stuff. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really does help. And if you have any questions about videos or editing, feel free to leave those down in the comments.
And this puts it all to shame. We're gonna put this on today. And unfortunately, Matt behind the scenes here filming this is not wearing one.